move on with the program with another individual who is running for the office as well of Attorney General. She is the Republican candidate for that post, but she is also the Deputy Attorney General here in the state of Colorado at present, working with the Constitution, both state and federal, on a regular basis. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Cynthia Coffman. It's great to have you here. You want this there? Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be good. Well, good morning and happy Constitution Week to all of you. As I was thinking about what I wanted to say, because there's a lot to say about the Constitution, I realized that sometimes when we teach our children about a document like the Constitution, there is as much to learn about the process, or from the process by which a document is written, as there is about the actual words. And so that's what I took a look at and reflected on and want to talk about this morning, because not only is there a lot in the provisions of this wonderful document that founded our country and the principles there, but there's much to learn and much to teach our children about the process and how the document was written. Now, forming a country and writing a constitution was a somewhat messy process. And I think one of the lessons we can teach kids is that adults do fight, and sometimes it isn't pretty. There was certainly some very flowery and eloquent rhetoric as the founding fathers fought over what the Constitution would say. I would have to say that sometimes the words I have heard in the building behind me don't quite meet those expectations. But it is still the same principle that when we are making laws, when we are drafting documents, when we are forging a consensus and compromising, that it's not always pretty, and sometimes we don't have the complete agreement of everyone who is there. Benjamin Franklin captured this, I think, so well in the words that he wrote, and which were spoken by a fellow Pennsylvanian, James Wilson, on September 17th of 1787. This was the final day of the Constitutional Convention, and Benjamin Franklin had a few things that he wanted to say to his fellow drafters. He was actually too ill, too weak to deliver them, so Mr. Wilson rose and spoke these words. I am not going to give you all of them. It's a dangerous proposition to edit someone like Benjamin Franklin, and so, Ben, wherever you are, I apologize for doing this, but I took out some salient points of this document. Go back and read it if you haven't read it recently, because it's fascinating. But he writes, Mr. President, I confess that there are several parts of this Constitution which I do not at present approve, but I am not sure I shall never approve of them. For having lived long, I have experienced many instances of being obliged by better information or fuller consideration to change opinions even on important subjects, which I once thought right, but found to be otherwise. It is therefore that the older I grow, the more apt I am to doubt my own judgment and to pay more respect to the judgment of others. And he goes on, in these sentiments, sir, I agree to this Constitution with all of its faults, if there are such, because I think a general government necessary for us. And there is no form of government but what might be a blessing to the people if well administered. And believe farther that this is likely to be well administered for a course of years. You notice he wasn't absolute about that. I doubt, too, whether any convention can obtain may be able to make a better constitution. For when you assemble a number of men to have the advantage of their joint wisdom, you inevitably assemble with those men all of their prejudices, their passions, their errors of opinion, their local interests, and their selfish views. That was prophetic. From such an assembly, can a perfect production be expected? It therefore astonishes me, sir, to find this system approaching so near perfection as it does. Thus I consent, sir, to this Constitution because I expect no better, and because I am not sure that it is not the best. The opinions I have had of its errors, I sacrifice to the public good. And he ends, on the whole, sir, I cannot help expressing a wish that every member of the convention who shall have objections to it would with me on this occasion doubt a little of his own infallibility, and to make manifest our unanimity, put his name to this instrument. So the point, adults and children in the crowd, is that adults are fallible. The document is not. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia.